That was amazing. The solos that I heard during the jazz performance, and we've got some New Orleans up here, so I saw Kiana tapping her foot.
Did good.
If they're still in the hall and can hear us, thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I hope you felt that love. Turn and bow.
Thank you, Skyline. Thank you.
And again, that was the Skyline High School Jazz Combo. Now, as they finish their cleanup, we'll watch a short video on the governing board meeting procedures.
Welcome to the Mesa Public Schools Governing Board meeting. We appreciate your interest in the district. The 5 elected governing board members volunteer countless hours and serve without compensation. The president and the clerk of the board are elected in January. Under state law, the governing board may only discuss and vote on matters that are on the agenda for tonight's meeting. Agendas are posted a minimum of 24 hours in advance on the Mesa Public Schools website and in the Curriculum Services Center. Copies of tonight's agenda are located in the lobby. Members of the public may speak to the agenda items. If you wish to comment on any agenda item, please fill out a request to address the board form. These forms are also located in the lobby. Before the item is discussed, please submit the completed form to the assistant to the governing board. Members of the public will be given a maximum of 3 minutes to speak. Once recognized by the governing board president, please state your name. We ask that all speakers show respect and courtesy to others. During the second regular meeting of each month, the agenda will include a call to the public, which is an opportunity to speak to the governing board about a school district matter that's not on the agenda. Please submit a request to address the board form to participate in the call to the public. If you want the governing board to consider adding an item to a future agenda, you may submit your request in writing to the board at least 5 working days before that meeting. The superintendent or the governing board president will consider your request. Thank you for your attendance and involvement in tonight's meeting.
All right, in accordance to governing board policy BDDH, public participation at board meetings, Father, is it Roland Francisco from Christ the King Roman Catholic Church will offer the invocation. Please stand.
Let us put ourselves in the presence of the Lord and entrust ourselves to the care and guidance of the Holy Spirit. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. As we gather in your name, O Holy Spirit, may we be filled with your love, so that all our discussions and reflections may be pleasing to you and earn the reward promised to good and faithful servants. We ask this of you, who live and reign with the Father and the Son, one God forever and ever. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit.
Okay, if we could remain standing. I'm going to go ahead and call the meeting to order. And the Pledge of Allegiance will be led by Dr. Andy Forlis, Assistant Superintendent of Teaching and Learning.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Now we can get comfortable. Okay. Okay, we've got a big crowd. We've got some stuff we've got to take care of before we get into the fun stuff. We'll start with the approval of the minutes of the regular meeting held on March 27th, 2018. Can I get a motion?
I move that we approve the minutes of the regular meeting held March 27th, 2018.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And none opposed. We'll need approval for the minutes of the special meeting held on March 29th, 2018. Can I get a motion?
I move that we approve the minutes of a special meeting held on March 29th of this year.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And none opposed? We're going to split the personnel requests into two. There's 7A and 7B, so we'll start with 7A. Looking for a motion for the approval of the certificated and classified personnel request, including the addendum.
Let's see if Dr. Holmes has any comments first.
Thank you, sir. I have no additional comments on the request. We are asking your approval this evening of the certified and classified personnel requests, including the addendum.
Okay, can I get a motion?
I make a motion for that approval. Thank you.
All in favor?
Aye.
And none opposed. The next one is the administrative rehires for 2018-2019.
And Mr. President, members of the board, we're also asking for your approval this evening of the administrative rehires for the 2018-2019 school year.
Okay, can I get a motion?
I move that we approve the item 7B.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And none opposed. We'll move on to the consent agenda. All items listed will be considered as a group and will be approved with one motion. There will not be a separate discussion of these items unless a board member or citizen so requests, in which case an item will be removed from the consent agenda and be considered as a separate item. Can I get a motion? Or actually, does anyone, do we have any requests to speak? Okay. Can I get a motion to approve the consent agenda?
Mr. President, I make a motion that we approve all items of the consent agenda.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And none opposed. Dr. Cowan, your superintendent's report.
Thank you, Mr. President, members of the board. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to ask your favor for something, and this is a little crazy, but you're all educators and you know how to move large groups of people at one time. Here's our situation. We have several people who are here for recognitions, and they can't even get into the room to be recognized. So if you're Team Red and you're not here for recognitions, if you would do me a favor and exit out of these 4 side doors. Now I'm like an airline pilot. 2 doors on this side, 2 doors on this side, allowing space for family members and individuals and the schools that are going to be recognized tonight to be able to come in so they can be present for the recognition. Would you mind doing that? And so if you exit out those doors, at the end of those recognitions, we'll invite people to exit out these doors again, and you can come in the back doors and reassemble if you don't mind. Is that all right? Okay, go ahead. We'll have recess now. If you're here for the next session of the governing board meeting, come on in. There's a few seats left, and you're certainly welcome to stand around the perimeter as well. We encourage you and invite you to come in for the recognitions. Patrick is over there telling you that there's spaces over by the door. All right, it looks like we're in pretty good shape. Couple more coming in. I'll go ahead and get started. Good evening, and thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for joining us for tonight's governing board meeting. It is a great pleasure to highlight the accomplishments of Mesa Public Schools, students, staff, and volunteers. The achievements we celebrate tonight reflect outstanding learning, leadership, and support throughout our district. We're proud to share these stories of success with you. Congratulations go to Brian Buck, International Baccalaureate History teacher at Westwood High School. He is the Arizona nominee for the National James F. Harris History Teacher Award. Brian was nominated by the Arizona Historical Society, administrator of the National History Day program in Arizona. This distinguished award is presented to one middle school and one high school teacher who are recognized for their use of creative teaching methods to engage and excite students about history. As Arizona's high school teacher nominee, Brian will compete against nominees from 56 other National History Day affiliates around the world. National winners will be announced in June. Brian was the 2016 Arizona IB Diploma Middle Years Teacher of the Year. He was also Westwood's Model UN Club sponsor. Brian and his UN team recently returned to the 10th Annual Dubai International Academy Model United Nations Conference. So, think about that field trip. Yes, I said Dubai. How cool is that? Westwood is the first team from the United States to attend this conference. The Warriors competed against 800 students from more than 30 countries, and they took second place. Yeah, that's pretty impressive. Individual winners included junior Peyton Morlock for Best Position Paper and senior Jessica Yon, who won Best Delegate for a Receptive Committee. The conference theme was Global Innovation in Education, Energy, and Economy. It provided students with different backgrounds and nations the opportunity to collectively work together on a cohesive and united goal. Congratulations to our Westwood United Nations team. Thank you for fostering a stronger awareness for global issues and inspiring your generation to change the world. Colton Cagle, a junior at Westwood High School, was named a Rotary Club Interact Ambassador. He is one of 5 students from Arizona who will travel to Nairobi, Kenya to participate in Crutches for Africa this summer. Colton will work with the Rotary organization to distribute mobility devices to people whose lives are affected with polio, birth defects, and accidents. The organization worked diligently to gather and ship crutches, canes, walkers, and wheelchairs to provide the life-changing gift of mobility. Congratulations, Colton. I know you will represent Mesa Public Schools with honor during this once-in-a-lifetime journey. For the second year in a row, a team from Mesa Public Schools was selected to attend the NASA Microgravity University for Educators at Houston's Johnson Space Center. Red Mountain High School teachers Shane Bicott and Adam Middleton, along with 4 student leadership team members, joined 9 teams from across the country. Attendees solved technical problems by designing, building, and testing devices in NASA's high-tech facilities. The student leadership team was selected by their peers to represent Red Mountain Engineering and Robotics. Junior Nick Jones headed up the endeavors as project lead. Sophomore Kevin Nguyen assisted as data lead, and Junior Connor Bogan was design lead, and Senior Connor Profit was physics lead. The Mountain Lions' journey to Johnson Space Center began by submitting a design proposal to build a satellite launching experimental device, which deploys a mock satellite into a moving targeted zone, mimicking a Mars orbital insertion. Each team was invited to test their design on the Precision Air bearing floor, where they were reviewed on their technical and educational merit. Adam says his engineering students were over the moon, no pun intended, about their NASA experience. They were thrilled to present their work to the director of Johnson Space Center and veteran astronaut Dr. Ellen Ochoa. Now the Red Mountain engineering students have conquered NASA. They plan to take over Washington, D.C. by storm. As winners of Arizona's Real World Design Challenge, seniors Hayden Brandt, Nicodemus Philides and Connor Prophet, and juniors Brian Bear, Julie Larson, Kyle Raithjen, and Michael Wallace will represent Red Mountain at the state for the national competition. Our students worked with industry mentors, professionals, and a team of Red Mountain educators to design an unmanned aircraft system that can detect and manage pest infestations in crop fields. We wish our Red Mountain Lions good luck in the competition, and we will enjoy learning more about their experience when they return from Washington. Springtime in Mesa is Mesa Public Schools' opportunity to attend incredible, high-quality productions at our high schools to our community. Red Mountain High School just wrapped up a successful adaptation of Mary Poppins. There's still time to see Footloose at Mountain View High School and The Addams Family at Westwood High School. The dates, times, and more information about upcoming performances, please visit the district's Creative and Performing Arts webpage. And I must tell you, if you have not seen the accomplishments of our students in these spring musicals, they are extraordinary, led by incredible educators who get them to do some fantastic things. I encourage you to take advantage of it. Speaking of our Creative and Performing Arts Department, Director Patrick Walsh and his team will host the 30th Annual Young at Art Gala this Friday, April 20th. This celebration invites the community to view adjudicated artwork from students in junior high and high school. The event begins at 5 p.m. at Historic Irving on Center Street, the perfect venue for the festivities, which will also include theatrical, musical, and dance performances, along with delectable cuisine provided by our culinary arts students. Mr. President, this concludes my report to the board, and I invite you and your colleagues to join me in front of the dais for this evening's recognitions. At the center of every successful wellness program are the motivated people who model positive behaviors and affect change. As educators, we are role models for our students, helping them understand how being healthy can help impact every aspect of their lives. I feel like I have to suck in while I'm talking about this. Tonight we honor our 2 district wellness champions and the healthiest site of the year. Will our wellness champions Shelby Rasmussen, physical education teacher at Chrisman Elementary School, and Mindy Shapley, buyer assistant for operations, please join me right over here. Okay, Mindy, raise your hand. There you are. Mindy, it's no secret that Chrisman Elementary School adores their PE teacher.
Oh, that's Shelby.
Shelby, please step forward. It's no secret that Chrisman Elementary School enjoys their PE teacher. Whether it's Workout Wednesday or Fitness Friday, students and staff members are motivated by their favorite high school educator. Favorite high energy educator. Well, I'm getting there, okay? I'm in glasses denial, so. Shelby promotes activities in a variety of ways, including applying for grants to help pay for activity equipment like pedometers and stationary bike pedals. Plans are now in the works to complete a fitness walking path around the school's perimeter. Shelby provides experiences for students to be active all day, which includes fitness recess activities, turkey trots, and superhero runs. She organizes events that feature professional sports teams and leads the City of Mesa and Mesa Public Schools International Walk to School event in the fall. Shelby started a student running club, and whether they run, jog, or walk, she is there to cheer them on. She even found a way to provide Chrisman All-Stars Running Club t-shirts for her students that participated. Chrisman principal Sandy Kuhn says, Shelby is exceptional in everything she does. She genuinely cares about our students. She always has an ear to listen and kind words to say. She does it all. Educating students, coaching the club, and finding funds to support student needs. Shelby, please step back now. Because now we're going to talk a little bit about Mindy Shapley, who's right over here. Mindy is a buyer assistant for the district, and every day she is a full-time wellness rock star. 3 years ago, Mindy embraced a healthy and active lifestyle and has lost 145 pounds. Now, here's her secret. Every day she takes 3 walks and goes to the gym for an hour. In fact, Mindy walks everywhere and for everything she can. She participated in Running with the Bulls at Mountain View High School and the Frank Cush Youth Foundation Run. Her family is her biggest supporter. They will tell you that she encourages her husband, children, and grandchildren to get moving and to make nutritious food choices. You've been talking to my wife, haven't you? Procurement Specialist Supervisor Lauren Harmio says, the purchasing and operations department have seen a huge change in Mindy since she started on her healthy lifestyle journey. She is an inspiration to all and proof that when you put your heart and soul into something, a person can achieve their goals. Congratulations, ladies. Your positivity, strong work ethic, and can-do attitudes are the reasons you were selected as the Wellness Champions. Our Wellness Champions will receive a gift card and a lovely district plaque. We're not going to give you any candy. That's kind of contrary to what we're talking about. Ladies, please stand to the right as we recognize a few more healthy folks tonight. Thank you again and congratulations. Will Salk Elementary School Principal Vicki Hester and Carrie Johnson, Wellness Ambassador and Physical Education Teacher, join me up front? How are you?
Good, how are you?
Good. I know these two. Let me tell you a little bit about what they do. Salk Elementary School has been selected to receive the Healthiest Site Award. Schools play an important role in helping young people establish lifelong healthy habits. There is a symbiotic relationship between brain and physical activity, healthy choices, and learning. Salk Elementary is nationally recognized for its high standards by the Alliance for a Healthier Generation. Staff members understand the importance of teaching students the benefits of healthy living. Teachers participate in movement and mindfulness activities such as brain breaks and Go Noodle. PE teachers engage students in physical activity through community programs and school events, including Jump Rope for Heart, Walk On Challenge, and the NFL's Play 60. Students take activity-driven field trips to venues like Skateland, the Phoenix Zoo, Legoland Discovery Center, and Sea Life Arizona Aquarium, which keep students moving during enhanced learning opportunities. Salk, I get this. I think I would suffer here. Salk is a cupcake and cookie-free zone. That's a good thing. That's actually a good thing. They encourage healthy snacks in classroom celebrations, which include fruit, vegetables, and pretzels. Salk received the coveted Healthiest Site for the Year Award trophy, and Andy's got it over there, right there. Very, very nice. And nutritious snack care packages. Congratulations to Salk Elementary School, and thank you, ladies, for being shining examples of wellness to your students and staff. Congratulations. Well, that's true. I understand that. I understand that. So we have a few people here to recognize these folks. We have Sandy Kuhn, the principal of Chrisman Elementary School. Sandy, are you there somewhere? Let's pretend she's over there. Thank you, Sandy. Michelle Hamilton, Director of Purchasing. Are you here tonight? There's Michelle. Thank you for being here, Michelle. Lauren Harmio, Supervisor and Procurement Specialist. Lauren, are you? There's Lauren in the back. All 42 pounds of Deb Pangrazi is right over here. Congratulations. Diane Brand, our wellness coordinator. Where are you, Diane? Oh, there you are. There's Diane over there in the corner. And Karen Turner, Benefits and Risk Management Specialist. There's Karen over there. We appreciate your support of our wellness program, and thank you for helping us remember how very, very important that is. Now, On the agenda are our spotlight recognitions. This program gives our community a more comprehensive look at our schools, programs, and departments, and allows us to recognize some incredible individuals. This evening's spotlight recognitions include Johnson and Zerhem. This evening's spotlight recognitions include, I'm going to get it on that one, Johnson and Zaharis Elementary Schools, and our Educational Technology Department. Will Greg Reed, principal of Johnson Elementary School, please join me at the podium while we watch a brief video about your school. We'll direct you to the monitors.
Welcome to V.E. Johnson Elementary School, home of the Jayhawks. I think our diversity is one of our cornerstones for building our strength here. It helps us to bring many perspectives to the table. The diversity is found within our student population and with our approaches to teaching. Our philosophies vary, but they're aligned to helping students to be the best versions of themselves. Johnson implements AVID in our classroom setting to help reinforce best practices when it comes to teaching and learning. And we also use a behavioral program to help relay to students our expectations for conduct. The people here are amazing. They're genuinely kind, they love children, they want what's best for children. The genuine sincerity in how we approach interacting with children is not just on test scores, but it's on helping them to become the best version of themselves, the best human they can be. Multiple times, I hear parents say they love Johnson. They love the staff, they love the feel here. It feels like home. Johnson Elementary School is a very special, wonderful, warm place to be.
There you go, Johnson Elementary School. Principal Reed, would you introduce your awardees to us today? Yes. Come on over here.
Thank you, Dr. Cowan. Well, at Johnson Elementary School, we embrace every student as an individual with unique abilities and talents. Everyone works together to create a thriving ecosystem, not unlike our beautiful campus gardens. I'd like to introduce some of those incredible members, some of the dazzling flowers from our garden. Grace Mann, 6th grade student, please join me at the podium. Grace was not feeling very well today, so I'm so grateful she's here today, and that is very, I've been at Johnson for 2 years now. I don't remember a day Grace has been sick, so I'm glad that she could make it today. It's clear that Grace loves to learn. She is a model of perseverance, never afraid to ask questions for clarification or redo an assignment until she masters a skill. Grace leads by example and is respectful and helpful to all. As student council president, she leads meetings with cheerful organization and efficiency while using her energetic personality and keen insight to improve our school. I am honored to recognize you, Grace, as an outstanding student. In fact, the other day I had a personnel question. I almost asked Grace for her insights on that. It was on her father, yes. Grace, please stand in front of the table at your right as we celebrate another member of our community. Michelle Whitmer, volunteer, please join me at the podium. Michelle's face is going to match a lot of your shirts right now. She's going to be really embarrassed, and I apologize in advance, Michelle, but you're so worthy of this. Your daughter is not presenting tonight, and she knows that.
but she was in on it, and she's a clever young lady and very worthy as well. Mesa works tirelessly to help teachers, administrators, and parents find the best ways to support teaching and learning while focusing on students' best interests. She's a community hero who puts in many hours of phone calls, event coordination, and more. She is selfless, generous, and kind. In many ways, she's the driving force behind the magic that happens at our school. I am honored to recognize you, Mesa, by the way, is sponsoring a Sombreros luncheon for the teachers tomorrow, as our volunteer extraordinaire. Mesa, if you could please stand next to Grace as we honor another member of our community. Oh boy, I think she's going to hurt me. Sharon Paley, 6th grade teacher, please join me at the podium. Grace is Sharon's teacher, and that's how we got Sharon here tonight. Sharon is the teacher you want for your child, the teacher you want on your team, the teacher you want at your school, and the teacher you want to be your friend. She connects the 6th grade minds in amazing ways, and that's helped me a lot, so I thank you. She's tender and reassuring, but not afraid to have tough conversations. Sharon's innovative instruction leads students to high success, while her background in special education helps her support anyone who is struggling. I'm honored to recognize you, Sharon, as an educator who makes a difference. Okay. Please. Okay, she didn't punch me in the arm. That's good. All right. Sandy Grace, office specialist, please come forward. Sandy texted me this morning and said she wasn't feeling very well. No, she's really sick. I'm so glad she's feeling better, but we are just thrilled to honor you, Sandy. She knows our Johnson community better than anyone. She's the first person you meet when you come to our office, embracing and welcoming to all. Whether Sandy is helping students to cope with separation anxiety at the start of the day or assisting parents and colleagues, she's caring, comforting, and critical to our success. She helps others with purpose, mission, and a smile. I am honored to recognize you, Sandy, as our customer service champion. If you could all please shake a hand with our illustrious board and our superintendent. Thank you for giving us the opportunity to recognize Johnson Elementary School. I say Johnson, you say Jayhawks. Johnson!
Let's have one more round of applause for the Johnson Jayhawks. Our next spotlight shines on Zaharis Elementary School. There they are. They're led by Mike Oliver, principal. Mike, would you please join me at the podium while we watch a brief video about your school?
In the desert of Mesa, Arizona, stands the Harris Elementary School.
Our mission statement is boldly proclaimed on the office wall. Learning, caring, rejoicing, and working together to create a more just, compassionate, insightful world.
We opened our school by dreaming big. Teachers and students set aside scripted textbooks in deference to inquiry-based teaching and learning. We believe students learn best while asking the questions and uncovering answers.
As a scientist and social scientist, I ask questions about the world around us, both past and present.
As a young historian, I danced the Virginia reel
churn butter, and sewed a quilt on the prairie.
I immigrated through Ellis Island to begin a new journey in a new land.
We feasted at a medieval court during the Middle Ages.
In the STEAM Design Center, we do the work of engineers. In our makerspace, we create, explore, imagine, question, and celebrate our thinking. We write code on computers, enjoy design challenges, and work with various technologies.
Teachers work diligently to develop their practice and ground it in learning theory.
Our school has been recognized as one of the 25 most innovative, inspiring, and coolest schools in America. We have an A rating from the State Department and an A+ rating from the Arizona Educational Foundation. Scholastic has recognized us as America's exemplary school for literacy development, and our school has been featured in numerous professional journals and newspapers. Visitors come from all over the world to see our school in action.
The Harris Elementary, place for everyone to enter to learn
and build your dreams.
Mr. Oliver, please introduce us to your honorees.
Thank you, Dr. Cowan. I am a lucky man, and thank you, Zaharis family, for showing up in full force. At Zaharis Elementary School, our community of learners unite to accomplish our mission, which is this: learning, caring, rejoicing, and working together to create a more just, compassionate, insightful world. Tonight, I'd like to recognize a few sensational soaring eagles. First, Molly Black, come on up here. Molly is driven, Molly's assertive, and she's compassionate. Along with high academics, she's a Mesa Young People's Orchestra member who practices her violin 90 minutes each night. Molly's creativity and charisma emanate from the screen during our morning news show. But her greatest virtue is her heart, evidenced, get this, in her idea to place affirmative messages in the girls' bathroom to raise up her peers. I'm honored to recognize you, Molly, as our outstanding student. Let's give her a round of applause. Lori Scott, if you could please come. She says after 35 years, I'm finally up here. I've worked with Lori every year that I've been a principal. As a Harris teacher, since the very beginning, she opened Zaharis 16 years ago, Lori broke our hearts when she retired 5 years ago. But now we see more of her than we ever have. She just forgot to stay home. Lori is in classrooms regularly, tutoring students. She's the first responder when anyone needs help. And she jumps in as a substitute when and wherever a need arises. She's always there for students and staff. To us, Lori Scott is Zaharis, and she represents what we're about. I am honored to recognize you, Loretta, as a volunteer extraordinaire, among many other things. Lori Scott. And she's a product of Mesa Public Schools as well. Jeannie Germain, if you could please join me at the podium. As Jeannie's working her way up here, I said, Jeannie, will you help me find a way to get Lori Scott here? And she said, I've got it. I'll tell her I'm getting an award. Brilliant, brilliant. The The words, "Mrs. Germain is the best teacher I ever had," echo through our community regularly. Students knows she loves them, and she reminds them of this each and every day. Jeannie makes learning exciting and meaningful, going the extra mile in everything that she does, including inviting grandparents to be primary sources for inquiry into history. Jeannie Germain is more than a teacher. She's more than a friend. She's an inspiration to us all. Jeannie, I'm honored to recognize you as our educator who makes a difference. One more round of applause for Jeannie Germain. Stacy Mansell, our crossing guard, if you could please come up here. Where's Stacy? Stacy is the day's first point of contact for our Soaring Eagles. Stacy turns what could be chaos into joyful order in even the most challenging circumstances in our parking lot each day. She keeps us safe in so many different ways. She's always smiling. She's always caring. Stacy greets everyone like their family because they are. When she's not crossing students, she's in classrooms enhancing our curriculum of caring and taking time to get to know each student and every staff member. I'm honored to recognize you, Stacy, as our customer service champion. We love you. And if you could greet Dr. Cowan, the governing board members, and thank you, Zaharis family. I'm humbled to be part of your team. Thank you so much.
Let's have one more round of applause for Zaharis Elementary School. Our last spotlight for the evening shines on our Educational Technology Department. Will one of the great heroes of Mesa Public Schools, Nathan Myers, Director of Educational Technology, please join me up front. Right here, Nathan. Let's watch a video to learn how EdTech teams support our staff and students.
My name is Nathan Myers, and I'm the Director of Educational Technology. Educational technology holds a tremendous potential to positively impact all facets of teaching and learning. It provides opportunities for our students to communicate and collaborate with one another in ways that were previously not possible. It provides tools for our teachers to more effectively analyze student data, provide meaningful feedback, and to create differentiated learning experiences for their students. And we get to be there to support our teachers as they leverage those tools in their classrooms. The Educational Technology Department consists of teacher specialists who support our teachers and staff in the integration of technology through a variety of innovative programs and professional learning opportunities. The trainers work directly with teachers and staff at all 85 of our school sites and programs. They spend time on each campus providing training and support, whether that means working with teachers one-on-one, in their professional learning communities, or with the entire staff. The variety of classroom experience that our team brings together is a significant source of strength that we draw upon as we work together to train and support our teachers. Our department also offers a current catalog of 77 professional learning courses. Those courses also serve as the foundation of our blended learning programs of study. EdTech Live is a series of YouTube live broadcasts.
Hi, welcome to EdTech Live, episode 62. My name is Teresa Williams, and I am your host.
These broadcasts feature EdTech trainers as well as teachers within our district who share a variety of technology integration strategies, tips and tricks, and best practices. Our mission as a school district is to prepare our students for their life beyond our K-12 institution. And our department stands in place to support teachers and help them leverage technology in teaching and learning to prepare our students for that future.
Educational technology. Nathan, introduce us to some of the members of your team.
Yes, please. Thank you very much. Educational technology supports Mesa Public Schools teachers and staff as they integrate technology to enhance teaching and learning and to prepare students for the future. Tonight I'd like to honor a couple members of our team. Norm Peckham, educational technology trainer, please join me at the podium. Norm uses years of teaching experience to bring an engaging, common-sense approach to classroom technology. He's developed a wide variety of professional development opportunities and enjoys applying multimedia resources for effective communication and student engagement. His calm demeanor creates a positive environment for all. I am honored to recognize you, Norm, as our employee who makes a difference. Nikki Marsky, educational technology assistant, please join me at the podium. You see Nikki smile when you enter our office, and you hear it on the phone as well. She continually seeks challenges and opportunities for growth to improve her skills and better support teachers and staff. Nikki ensures that our office runs smoothly, no matter what the day brings. A true professional, her dedication to others makes her an invaluable team member. I am honored to recognize you, Nikki, as our customer service champion. Thank you very much for letting us share how our educational technology team supports our district. Thank you.
Let's have a round of applause for our educational technology department. Thank you to our master educators and top-notch employees. Your individual and collective efforts engage and inspire young learners every day. You give children the tools to be successful in life, which is evidenced in the outstanding students that we honored this evening in our meeting. We celebrate each one of you. Our Spotlight recipients receive a certificate of appreciation and an Amazon gift card for your personal use from the Mesa Public Schools Foundation. In addition, our volunteer extraordinaire receives a candy-filled tumbler that's separate from health awareness schools. And outstanding students are recognized with an official portrait to be displayed here in our governing boardroom, as you can see over here to my left. That is cool, isn't it? We will take, now, I just need to say this. The folks at Johnson, the folks at Zaharis, and the incredible professionals at Educational Technology are wonderful role models, but they are parts of a much larger system of very, very dedicated and committed people. And we want you to know how important each one of you play in making Mesa Public Schools the great institution that focuses on our children, their learning, and their achievement. Thank you so very much. Now, let me give you some information. Are you ready? So we've got to get some folks back in who moved out for you. So if you're planning on leaving now, smart thing to do, exit out the 2 emergency exits on either side of the wing of the plane, and we will bring in the folks from the foyer back into the meeting if they are still out there.
Welcome to V.E. Johnson Elementary School, home of the Jayhawks. I think our diversity is one of our cornerstones for building our strength here. It helps us to bring many perspectives to the table. The diversity is found within our student population and with our approaches to teaching. Our philosophies vary, but they're aligned to helping students to be the best versions of themselves. Johnson implements AVID in our classroom setting to help reinforce best practices when it comes to teaching and learning. And we also use a behavioral program to help relay to students our expectations for conduct. The people here are amazing. They're genuinely kind, they love children, they want what's best for children. The genuine sincerity in how we approach interacting with children is not just on test scores, but it's on helping them to become the best version of themselves, the best human they can be. Multiple times, I hear parents say they love Johnson. They love the staff, they love the feel here. It feels like home. Johnson Elementary School is a very special, wonderful, warm place to be.
In the desert of Mesa, Arizona, stands the Harris Elementary School.
Our mission statement is boldly proclaimed on the office wall. Learning, caring, rejoicing, and working together to create a more just, compassionate, insightful world.
We opened our school by dreaming big. Teachers and students set aside scripted textbooks in deference to inquiry-based teaching and learning. We believe students learn best while asking the questions and uncovering answers.
As a scientist and social scientist, I ask questions about the world around us, both past and present.
As a young historian, I danced the Virginia reel, churned butter, and sewed a quilt on the prairie.
I immigrated through Ellis Island to begin a new journey in a new land.
We feasted at a medieval court during the Middle Ages.
In the STEAM Design Center, we do the work of engineers. In our makerspace, we create, explore, imagine, question, and celebrate our thinking. We write code on computers, enjoy design challenges, and work with various technologies.
Teachers work diligently to develop their practice and ground it in learning theory.
Our school has been recognized as one of the 25 most innovative, inspiring, and coolest schools in America. We have an A rating from the State Department and an A+ rating from the Arizona Educational Foundation. Scholastic has recognized us as America's exemplary school for literacy development. And our school has been featured in numerous professional journals and newspapers. Visitors come from all over the world to see our school in action.
The Harris Elementary. Place for everyone to enter to learn and build your dreams.
My name is Nathan Myers, and I'm the Director of Educational Technology.
All right, we're going to go ahead and get started with the, with the rest of the meeting. We've got a few things to get through before we get to, I think, what you're here for and to listen to. So we'll start with agenda item 12, and that's resolution, the settlement agreement, and payments.
If we'll have Dr. Lesser just give you a brief summary of what we're requesting here for this portion of the agenda.
Okay.
Yes, Mr. President, members of the board, item number 12A. We're asking your approval this evening of a resolution agreement that is the basis of an audit that was conducted by the Arizona State Retirement System. The approval, if you approve this item this evening, it will include the resolution agreement, the list of retirees, and the settlement agreements, and including the template for the settlement agreement.
Okay. Any questions? Okay. Can I get a motion?
I move the governing board adopt the resolution regarding implementation of overpayment liability plan, together with exhibits A and B attached here too, with paragraph 4 of the resolution amended to state the following. The associate superintendent is authorized to make an adjustment to the settlement payment to retiree Janice Ramirez if necessary to resolve a discrepancy regarding her overpayment liability as reported by the ASRS, and 2, any minor adjustment to a settlement payment if he determines that such adjustment is necessary to correct a manifest error.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And none opposed. All right, let's move on to item 13A. That's the second hearing on the proposed calendar for the 1920 school year.
Mr. President, members of the board, we're going to ask Dr. Lesser to share some background information with you. And then, as you recall from the last time we met, we have a few alternative calendars in response to questions and concerns you had regarding the start and end of the school year. I want you to know how much I appreciate the work of so many people that have collected the data to help you in making an informed decision for the 2019-20 or 2019-20 and 2021 school years, especially the work of Dr. Lesser and his assistant, Christo Perzer, for their work. Dr. Lesser.
Well, the first thing I'd like to do is to thank everybody in the audience for coming here this evening to see my presentation on the school calendar. So thank you.
This is what they've been waiting for all night.
I couldn't resist.
I said we'd get to the fun stuff.
Mr. President, there are two hearings this evening, one for the, as Dr. Cowan said, one for the 2019-20 school year, and a hearing for the school calendar for the 2020-21 school calendar. And if it's acceptable to you, I'd like to just give you an overview of why where we are today with the calendars, and then maybe handle each calendar individual as a hearing and question and answers, if that's acceptable. Mm-hmm. Okay, there we go. So first of all, there's a few items that are required and some district practices that we put in place in the development of school calendars. You can see in the left-hand column, we must have a minimum of 180 school days. And then there are a number of days that by statute we need to recognize in our calendar, and you can see those as well. The right-hand column, are the district practices. And we recognize additional holidays, including Labor Day, the day after Thanksgiving, New Year's Day, MLK Day, President's Day, Spring Holiday, and Memorial Day. We recognize a fall break at the end of first quarter and a spring break at the end of third quarter. We try to balance the number of days in the first and second semesters. We attempt to end first semester at the beginning of winter break. We like to focus on increasing student success by maximizing the number of instructional days prior to state testing, and we coordinate with other educational organizations when possible regarding their breaks and calendars. We surveyed over 15,000 teachers, classified staff, and parents and students, and the result of the survey, the most favorable break lengths were 1 week for fall break, 3 days for Thanksgiving break, and 1 week for spring break. And of course, we have the built-in 2 weeks during the winter break as well that we established and did not move and did not give an opportunity to get feedback on. So really, the results of the survey took us in a direction of making one change from our historically or traditional school calendars, and that is a Thanksgiving break that is 3 days instead of 2 days. With that being said, I'd like to move to the hearing for the 2019-20 proposed student calendar. And the calendar is on the left, and probably the important dates for everybody to recognize are on the right. First day of school would be August 6th. Fall break would be October 7th through the 11th. We would then break for Thanksgiving. It would be 3 days, the 27th, 28th, and 29th. Winter break would be December 23rd through January 3rd. Spring break, you can see in the second week of March, and we would end school. The last day of school and graduation would be May 21st. I'd be happy to entertain any questions you might have on that specific calendar.
I've got a question, but I don't know if it's specific to this calendar. It's just more specific to the governor recently passed the recess law. Is that going to impact this work that we've done?
Actually, no. It's independent of the calendar. It will impact primarily the primary grades daily schedule, but that doesn't impact the number of student days we have. So we're okay independent of those two decisions.
Okay. I thought there was something in there that said that we couldn't change the start and stop time of the day.
That's correct, if I remember correctly from the documentation. Yeah.
Okay, so that's why I assumed it would just add days to the end of the year.
Arlinda Mann can tell you a little bit about the instructional hours compared to the recess.
Okay.
We recently did a study on this and took some data within our district about where we are with our elementary recess in anticipation for this coming up. And it's currently not going to be a problem in K-3 for the first year because the majority of our schools, if not all, we probably have one or two, already have a set recess for K-3 in addition to lunch. And my understanding of the law is that it's lunch recess and then an additional period to that. We already have that in place, so that's not going to be a problem. For the following year, we'll have to look at 4th and 5th grade. The law doesn't include 6th because we still have some schools that don't have the additional recess in 5th and 6th, but we'll have a year to plan for that.
Okay, perfect.
So, if there are no questions, we would request your approval of the 2019-20 student calendar as proposed in this presentation.
Mr. President, what I would recommend is at the conclusion of both recommendations that we can then open up the hearing if anyone wants to speak to those, and then the governing board can act on both sets of calendars.
Okay, perfect. So with that said, then let's move to item B and talk about the 2021 school year.
Okay, thank you, President Smith. As I move to the calendar for 2020-21, we presented this proposed calendar at the last meeting, and it's real similar to the prior calendar that we've taken a look at. But the question that the board had on during our last meeting is this proposed calendar, school would start on August 4th, and it would conclude on May 20th. And the question, I think the collective question from the board was, what is the possibility of starting on August 11th and then ending on May 27th? And what you will see is I've attached two different possibilities here and would like to share with you, what I've done. They're very close to one another. So in the alternate 1 student calendar, I have moved the start date to the 11th, the end date to the 27th of May. You can still see that we conclude school before Memorial Day. October break is still the week of October 5th through the 9th. Now, when I show you an alternate 2 calendar, the only thing that's different between these two alternates is I've moved October break a week later. We would still start on August 11th. We would still end on May 27th. But instead of being the break the 5th through the 9th, it would be the 12th through the 16th. And I think that's the discussion or maybe a question that you have regarding the calendar. Now, I might add that the calendar, and I'm going to go back to the first alternate, the break of the 5th through the 9th, that appears to align best with our neighboring schools. And I think not everybody has created their calendars, but I think if we move a week deeper in October for October break, I think we won't have October break at the same time that any of our neighboring schools do.
That's interesting. I always thought it was the week after that they had October break, but maybe not.
Well, most of the schools in Gilbert, we will align with Gilbert with the 1920 calendar. They do not have their 2021 calendar established yet. They're working on that as we speak. But from a consistency standpoint, they always have 1 week, and it appears that it's the second week in October. Chandler does not have their 1920 or 2021 calendar yet, but they have a 2-week block, and their previous 2 years were the first and second weeks of October. Yeah. I mean, there's a possibility that they could shift it, but I don't have any information that would indicate that.
So you're saying that alternate 2 most closely aligns with Gilbert, because that's when October break is the second week?
Well, no, alternate 1, really the first week has always been, notice that you have the first and the second. So it really, alternate 1,
okay,
I believe will align with Gilbert's, even though they haven't created this year's yet.
And even though that only makes a 7-week-long first grading period and a 10-week-long second grading period.
And that's an excellent question. Here are the semester and quarter breaks, so you get a sense for that. Alternate 1, first semester, first quarter is 38 days. Second quarter is 46 days. First semester then is 84 days. So 38, 46, 84. Second semester is going to be 5 days longer than the proposed calendar. And it's going to be 43, 53, 96. 43, 53, 96 for a total of 180 days. Wow. Now, alternate 2 calendar, give you a sense there, it's going to be 43, 41 in first semester, 43, 41. It's still 84 because all I did was shift October break. 43, 41, and second semester will be 43, 53.
Gee, that's a big discrepancy with that first quarter. It's such a short quarter. And I understand that it's a huge benefit for all of us that they have it at the same time as Gilbert schools. But how does that affect the grading process, this testing, all of the things I need to do that first quarter?
Are we to the point where we can open it up as a hearing and get some potential feedback?
Let's respond to Mrs. Miner, and then if there are other questions, then we can. For years, I've had the distinguished opportunity to be involved in calendar development. It'll be one of the fond points of my retirement. There is no perfect calendar, and moving it up or moving it back is responsive to parents. Balancing semesters is responsive to teachers. Sometimes those are juxtaposed to each other just because of how the calendar falls. And ultimately, if you were to go back and look historically over the last 20 plus years, there's always been more dates in the second semester, and that is intentional with the idea of compensating for the time that's committed to testing required by the state, so that teachers still have time to deliver their full curricula. When there is less time in the first semester than the second semester, we have incredible educators that hone down to those critical elements that are most important to help students be successful for the next semester and or the next course or the next experience. But I think what you're going to find is you're not going to find ever a calendar that's going to respond to the needs or requests and demands of every population that we serve in Mesa Public Schools.
And I realize that to be the case. That just seemed like such a short time between the time they come to school and they're playing catch up, and they're coming in now, in that particular model, they're coming in the second day of that week. But usually it takes them, you guys will be the experts to tell us, but it seems like it takes them about that first week to really get in gear and get adjusted, and they don't really get into it until the next week. And so now you're looking at 6 weeks.
Yeah. I think you would, if you ask these educators, they don't spend a week getting into their teaching and learning. Of course, there is teaching of procedures and practices and those kinds of things, but these folks recognize the demands on all of us in accordance with accountability expectations and student achievement expectations. And literally within days on a campus, many of our teachers, especially in the upper intermediate grades, junior high, and certainly in our high schools, they've jumped full into their curricula. If it's a year-long course and there's concerns between first semester and second semester, the teachers adjust accordingly, unless they've got concerns about the first semester test compared to the content of the second semester test. It's a challenge. It's a challenge.
Okay.
I guess I'm looking at the August 6th start. That was ending school on May 20th, because this alternative 1 and 2 was in response of getting closer to that Memorial Day, actually starting school earlier, which is traditional.
That would be the earliest we've ever ended school in Mesa Public Schools, May 20th, because typically it aligns with the Memorial Day weekend, close to, in proximity to. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No problem. I'm thinking that August 6th start would actually put an additional week back in.
Mrs. Sears, which calendar are you referring to?
The August 6th start in the 2021 school year, if I remember correctly.
No.
August 4th start, you mean?
Yes, August 4th start, yeah. No, this proposal, alternative 1 and 2 were alternatives. Originally, the August 4th start was what you came.
That's correct. Our proposed calendar was August 4th, end on the 20th. You're correct. And the dates for those, the quarters would be 43 and 46. So the proposed ones has 43 first quarter, 46 second quarter, and then it was 43, 48 for second semester. Yes, the proposed calendar.
I think they want to be able to see them from the monitor. Rock, can you help us with that?
Oh.
There you go. I'm sure you can see all those details.
So okay. So the proposed calendar for 2021, first semester, first quarter, it'll be 43, second quarter is 46, 43, 46. Second semester will be 43, 48. So 43, 46, 43, 48.
Pete, do we have to approve, could we approve 1 year this today and let public input on the 3 choices of the proposed alternative 1 or 2? Is that too?
You can do whatever you want.
Like, said no one ever.
Are
to
you
me.
asking for my opinion or
Actually,
or
as
what
long
you
as
have the authority to do?
As long as you have one calendar that's 2 years out, like the 1920, you're going to be fine. If you want to repeat that process after an opportunity and do that next spring, you could then adopt the next 2 years calendars.
But we couldn't adopt one tonight and wait 2 more weeks and adopt the second, and give people a chance to weigh in on.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? So after people had a quick chance to look at those 3 options, and
we could send out a survey that says, here we are, folks. This is what the school district is considering for 2021. 1, 2, 3 proposals. Look at Pete. He's about to quiver in his seat with excitement.
Is my twitch noticeable to everybody?
But we've already got those done. And so we could put those into a survey and ask folks, hey, what do you prefer?
Yeah. I mean, you really can. You can approve 1 tonight. You could approve 2 tonight. You can come back at a later date and change what you approve tonight.
We just have to have
So,
at least a calendar adopted before July 1st of this year.
I just feel like I know what the mom in me wants, but I'm happy to listen to other opinions on it.
well, should we do hearing for the 1920, do the hearing for the 2021 and
If you wanted to, we could postpone the hearing for 2021 and bring it back in 2 weeks after we've gotten feedback. Or you can hold it now and then hold it again in 2 weeks after we've gotten feedback.
Mr. President, I suggest that we, at least for me personally, we approve the 1920, but then get some feedback on the 2021.
Okay.
I'm seeing some twitches, but
So,
Pete, we will bring you
Under one
Chewy
requirement,
Chewy
I don't want
Sweethearts.
another retiree on the list.
those were
no,
daggers.
no, hey, it's all good.
You guys are cruel.
So why don't we open hearing for 1920?
Let's do that.
And provide the opportunity for that hearing, and then take a motion and look to see what the vote is.
Okay. To go into hearing, do I need a motion to go into hearing, or?
You just announced that we're going to hearing, and then if there are any people that have submitted requests to speak to Alice, that would be the hearing component. And then after the hearing, you can close the hearing and then propose. You can converse and then propose a motion.
Okay, do we get background music to go into hearing, or?
They left.
Apparently not. All right. We'll go ahead and go into hearing for the 1920 school year calendar. If there's any requests to speak, we can get that form filled out real quick. It looks like we've got some silent approval.
If there are some people who don't know where it is, there's some yellow forms out in the lobby.
Is there anybody that would like to talk to that?
We
All right.
we saw your heads going, and now's your time.
So I didn't see a whole lot of head bobbing with the 1920, and we don't have any requests to speak. So there I move into a motion to approve the proposed calendar for 1920.
Mr. President, I make a motion to approve the calendar for the 1920 school year.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
So, Mr. President,
None
then
opposed?
what we'll do is we will seek survey information from Team Red and others, and we will then be back in 2 weeks giving you data regarding the three choices that were presented today, and then have another hearing and request your approval of a calendar.
Okay. Do we want to go into hearing just to see if we've got any feedback here live now for the 2021?
Typically, you only need to do 2 hearings on a calendar. That would make 3 hearings.
Okay, we'll
So-
skip hearing.
It's up to you.
Watch for the survey.
Coming to an email box soon.
All right, with that said, we'll get to what I think most of you are waiting for, and that's adjournment. No, I'm just kidding. Item 14A, that's District and Governing Board communication on staff activities supporting increased education funding and employee compensation. Dr. Cowan?
Thank you, Mr. President, members of the board, and thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for being here and your interest in this important topic. Let me give you the background on what led us to this experience. One of the things is we have wanted to communicate to our staff our support for them and their efforts that are underway. And we had to do so in a context directly related to ARS 15511 that prohibits an individual in their position to influence others regarding political activities. And regardless of whether you want to think this is not a political activity and that it's a movement, in reality it's kind of a political activity and a movement. And so the school district, which reminds me of when we went through the challenges regarding immigration and ICE and all those things earlier, we had to thoughtfully craft something that expresses appreciation and respect and honor and didn't overstep the bounds of usurping a position control in response to ARS 15511. So let me read what is proposed to governing board members. This is an opportunity for you to share anything you like to in regard to editing, deleting, transforming. There are two sentences in a, do you like one over the other, or do you want to merge the two together? The idea is we would like to be able to get this out as soon as possible to our staff members so they know and understand where we are. This is a different flavor than perhaps some more militant, politicized school districts have engaged in some of their communications, very similar to the difference there was in place between our declaration on immigration compared to other declarations of immigration. We were focusing on making sure we were in compliance with the law. So let me just read this. If this is approved tonight, folks, when it comes in your mailbox, act surprised. Oh, look, a letter. Dear colleagues, we respect and honor our teachers and staff for their participation in statewide efforts to bring attention to the need for increased funding for public education. We appreciate that these efforts, including peaceful walk-ins in some school districts, have kept student learning as the top priority by not disturbing teaching and learning in Mesa Public Schools. We support our employees' rights as citizens to request the desperately needed funding for meaningful teacher and support staff pay raises. We urge the state legislature to work on behalf of Arizona's children and families and to develop a viable plan to better compensate teachers and support staff by increasing funding for public education. Now these are the choice paragraphs, and you could do a mutation of both combined. Option 1 is, through past actions, the governing board has shown that when additional funding is available, the priority is to direct it towards staff compensation, or, I should say, number 2, the governing board stands ready and eager to take steps to increase employee compensation if additional funds become available from the state. And then the closing comments. We appreciate our dedicated employees who continue to focus on meeting the needs of our students and community. Respectfully, Michael B. Cowan, Superintendent, Ben Smith, Governing Board President, Elaine Miner, Governing Board Clerk, Stephen Peterson, Jenny Richardson, and Kiana Maria Sears, Governing Board Member. So that's what's proposed with the caveat of some potential responses there for you, and or any other edits, changes, deletions, additions that you would like to add.
So,
and this has been, just one last thing, this has been reviewed by Tom Pickerel to make sure we're in complete compliance with state law.
Okay. As part of this discussion, I'd like to invite Josh Buckley.
Sure.
Can we do that now up to help us talk about this?
Governing board. I haven't filled out my yellow sheet, but now I see I don't need it, so there we go.
You've been requested by the president.
Thank you, Governing Board President Ben Smith and the rest of the Governing Board for inviting me up here to speak with you guys tonight.
Thank you. So this is open dialogue for us as a board to address this letter.
Do you want to make a statement on what I just heard, or do you want to ask questions first?
Yeah, I'd love your input.
Sure, I would tell you that this is sort of the thing that we've been looking for as educators across Mesa, as we've been working hard on our campuses. Tomorrow, on Wednesday, from my count, there are over 70 campuses participating in walk-ins, peaceful demonstrations with their colleagues, with their communities, with their parents to show support for public education in Mesa. And so that is an exciting thing that we've got going on, that we have teachers and educators across this district who are fighting for the kids in their classrooms. And so we've been, I've been in constant contact, like Dr. Cowan said. I've taken questions from Jenny, I've taken questions from Ben, I've been reaching out to people to kind of get on top of what's going on. And so I appreciate those comments. And the letter that we have today, you can see I brought some friends with me tonight. we know that the district is in a position where they have to work with state law, and this is something that doesn't happen overnight. So hearing what I just heard, and I think if I could get a little sign from the folks behind me that we appreciate what that message says. Do we appreciate? Okay. We appreciate the support of the governing board in this letter, and we appreciate the support of superintendency as we do something that some of you can't do when it comes to this, that we're able to kind of step in front and step up for our colleagues, our communities, our schools, our students, and as we make sure that we can do what we can to get better funding for schools in the state of Arizona. So what I've heard in that letter, I greatly appreciate the words in there, and I understand the line that you have to walk as a district. And I think this is sort of the conversations I've had with Dr. Cowan and other board members about this is what we kind of need, that we've seen other districts put other things forward, and so we've been waiting to get a message like this. So we appreciate that. Is there any questions I can answer from you guys?
Let me just add one more piece. I really appreciate, Josh and I have been in regular communication with each other as early as 10 minutes ago in the hall as we compared notes on Channel 12 report that just came out. And Josh was aware that we were designing this letter in the way that we were designing this letter. He also was instrumental in helping us get out the Q&A document on Red for Ed that went out to help staff members understand what their options are, giving them a little more, I think, sense of relief on what their rights and capacities are to engage in activities. And then also the communication that went out today in English and Spanish, informing parents about what's going on so that they're educated about tomorrow's activity and potential future activities as well. And Josh, thank you for that. Yeah. So now Josh asked if you had any questions for him.
Well, Josh, I appreciate your stepping up. And for the crowd you got behind you, the support from the teachers. In the interest of moving this along, I want to talk through. I'm fine. I'm comfortable with the first paragraph. I'd like to talk through the letter. Comfortable with the first paragraph. Does anybody on the board have anything that they'd want to add or edit?
My only question is, should colleagues be capitalized?
English teachers.
Yes, actually, colleague at the beginning should be capitalized.
Thank you. I just wanted that fixed.
So that has been adjusted accordingly.
All right, let's move on to the second paragraph. Again, I'm comfortable with that, but feedback from the board? All right, the third
paragraph is where you have choices.
Where we have choices.
Let me read the two choices, and also the third choice would be a blending of the two, and a fourth choice would be a scrap it and write something else. Here's choice one. Through past actions, the governing board has shown that when additional funding is available, the priority is to direct it toward staff compensation, or, and this one I lean toward, I'll just tell you that, the governing board stands ready and eager to help to take steps to increase employee compensation if additional funds become available from the state.
Yeah, so I'll jump in and weigh in on that. There's a lot of energy around this movement, and I think the second paragraph, two. This is a game show.
Peace.
Audience participation.
I like the energy of paragraph two. Again, I'm open for feedback if the board's got any or wants to modify it.
I like the energy of it, but I also appreciate the respect that it shows the work the governing boards in the past and currently have done in paragraph one. So I would probably be in favor of adding the word "and" after the end, scratching "and we stand ready and eager." So I would prefer a blending because I think
I'm
it's
in favor
important
of
to
the
show
blend
that
as well.
I like that.
So let me read that. Through past actions, the governing board has shown that when additional funding is available, the priority is to direct it toward staff compensation, and we stand ready and eager to take steps to increase employee compensation if additional funds became available from the state.
Exactly.
Are we good with three? Okay.
I have one word possibility, and that would be the optimist in me.
Yes.
to change the word if to as.
Ooh, yeah.
Steven, yes.
Four.
Power.
Sounds like we've got consensus on door number 4.
Okay, so do you want me to read it again? Or are we good? Or do we all want to read it together? Through past actions, the governing board has shown that when additional funding is available, the priority is to direct it towards staff compensation, and we stand ready and eager to take steps to increase employee compensation as additional funds become available from the state.
Yes.
Yes. All right, I'm going to go ahead and read the last paragraph.
I think we should all read it together.
I
The
think
last paragraph.
Let's do that. Everybody's mic's on. Let's have fun with this.
That's right, all of you, yeah.
We
We
appreciate.
respect our, sorry.
Which paragraph are you?
I don't know, I just made up my own.
You're having fun with this.
Okay, try it again, I'll try again.
Ready?
You ready?
Yeah.
We appreciate
our
dedicated employees who
continue to focus on meeting the needs of our students and community.
Yeah.
Woohoo!
Motion to approve.
I move that we approve this letter that will go to.
As revised.
As revised, that will be sent to
All employees.
all employees.
Our colleagues with a capital C.
And will it also be sent to the state or just,
Well, I can certainly send it to the state. No, that's not a problem.
yes? Okay, that's the motion, and sent to the state.
I didn't hear that last
State
part.
legislators, legislators, I
How
would
about
say.
policymakers?
Policymakers, there we go.
Okay, so let me make sure I've got the motion right. That the governing board approves the letter as modified and directs the administration to send it to all staff members and Arizona state policymakers, which for you and I are legislators, the governor's office, and perhaps some others.
Yes,
Yes.
Okay?
that's it.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 None opposed.
We're going to have you vote on something else in 1 more minute.
Thank you, guys.
Do we have
Thank you,
time
Josh.
for one more comment? I just wanted to say, Josh, you are a great leader. You have done,
Thank you. It's if I can indulge for 1 second.
let me finish. I'm not done with you.
Okay.
I want to add to that you lead with class, and and that's not a pun, but you lead well. You do. I feel there's a cohesive, collaborative effort here. I feel we're like family. We're working together for the same cause, the same passion. We all believe in it. And I just appreciate all that you're doing, everybody's time here tonight. I know it's been a long day for you. You have to get up early and go back to the classes tomorrow. And you're going to be doing some more on behalf of Red for Ed tomorrow as well. So I just want you to know how much we appreciate the way you are handling all of this. Mesa has always had a legacy of doing things well and being the example to other districts in the state. And I think we are doing that here tonight.
Thank you.
So thank you.
If I can indulge for 1 quick second, if that's okay. I would like to say that, you know, it's not me doing this. This doesn't happen without the educators that are behind me. The educators are at home grading papers right now. The educators that are preparing for walk-ins tomorrow morning, that this is an effort that Mesa might be 84 or 90 or whatever number we're using to count the schools that day. But we support 64,000 students or more, and with over 3,000 educators that I work with and I represent, that this doesn't happen without their work, and this doesn't happen without their dedication to their classrooms, their students, and their profession. So I would love to take all the credit, but I can't do that. So it's really the hard work of the people behind me too. So thank you guys. So.
I want to make a comment. I have to jump in.
You can talk about me.
Here's, thank you so much, Josh, for your leadership and everyone who's here tonight. And the one thing that I would want to express on behalf of myself and the board, because I listened to Dr. Cowan as he talks about that fine line. But know that you have up here parents, friends, advocates, and people who are compassionate and are servant leaders. That's who we are. And as we brought up the example of the immigration policy and working and walking that fine line, know that Mesa Public Schools, our school district, is the only policy that actually has an address in it that keeps immigration officers off of our campuses. We're the only district that was able to do that. So it takes a lot of thought, a lot of collective ideas. There's always a lot of charisma and excitement about sanctuaries and different things out there where people are just jumping all over the place. But do know that we take the time to actually make sure we do everything in our power to do things right and to work on the behalf of our students and you, the educator, and all of our administration. So do know that we see your work, we appreciate your work, and we hope that you get that if there's any delays that looks like that's happening, because we're thoughtfully working in the background to do everything that we can to make sure we do the right thing and make it work, and that it's not just rhetoric, but it actually works for you from years to come. That's what I would like to say. So thank you for all you do on behalf of all of us in the, on the board.
So we've got a lot of love and support up on the dais here, down on the floor. Your administration supports you. We support you, and thank you. And with that, we'll move to another item we'll ask for your input on, item 15A.
I move that we adjourn.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.